With the Oklahoma City Thunder being crowned as 2025 NBA champions, the focus now shifts to the offseason, more specifically, the 2025 NBA draft. And the Atlanta Hawks are sitting on two major opportunities with the 13th and 22nd picks. After losing in the play-in for the second straight season and missing the NBA playoffs, the Hawks are looking to make some moves to get back to the postseason. It all starts with the NBA draft. Whether they want to reload with length, athleticism, and defensive versatility, or take big swings on upside, the Hawks are in a great spot to find two real contributors in this class. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Going for Two. I am Kewan Humphreys. The NBA draft is on Wednesday, and I want to talk about my team, the Atlanta Hawks, and talk about what I think we should do with this year's 13th and 22nd overall picks. Now, I want to be realistic. I want to talk about three guys that I want to see put on that Atlanta Hawks hat on that stage and stand beside Adam Silver. So I'm going to be realistic with it. I'm not going to talk about Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, guys that I personally like out this draft. I'm going to keep it realistic and talk about guys that we may potentially see the Hawks select in this draft. So first, I want to talk about the needs. I want to talk about what the Hawks need. The Hawks, to me, they need two things. I think they need defense and they need some off-ball creators. They need some wings that can be versatile on the defensive end, knock down open shots, and just find a way to maximize their opportunities despite not having the ball in their hands for a large amount of possessions. The first guy I want to talk about is Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant, 6'7" forward out of Arizona, weighs at 215 pounds, and has a 7-foot wingspan. Now, looking at his stats don't jump off the page. Only averaged 6.5 points, 4 rebounds, 46% shooting from the field, and 37% from three. But it's important to realize that he was a freshman, a part of a very veteran-led and experienced Arizona team led by lead guard Caleb Love. So he barely played. He only got 19 minutes. But in those 19 minutes, I believe he showed who he can be with more opportunity in the NBA. Talk about defense. Defensively, this is where this guy stands out to me. He's got the length and the athleticism to make plays. He has a knack to be a playmaker on the defensive end with his IQ. He comes up with a bunch of turnovers, comes up with a bunch of steals in the passing lanes and just on-ball steals, get down transition. But he also has the ability to rotate and help in paint protection. I think he has the upside to be a primary defender at some point in the league. And to add him to the wings that we already have, the versatile wings that we already have, in Dyson Daniels, Zachary Richichet, and Jalen Johnson, to add him to that would be an absolute plus. And I also think the way watching him play at Arizona, with Caleb Love is a good kind of. It's a very similar situation. A lead guard is going to score points, run the offense. You're not going to get the ball too much. He's going to be in that same situation with Trae Young. And I think his upside, the way he plays on defensive end, is going to be a great addition to the Hawks because we know Trae Young's not the best on defense. So we got to bring guys in that are going to hide him as best as possible. So Carter Bryant did not have the best stats, did not have the best offensive stats at Arizona. But I did love what I saw when I watched film and I did my research on Carter Bryant. This is a guy that like I just said, he played under Caleb Love. And he's going to be doing the exact same thing with Trae Young. This is a guy that played really well off the ball. Three-point shooting, I think he's a really underrated three-point shooter. And that is something that all NBA teams would love to have on their team. This guy shot 37% from three and from downtown during the regular season. But it's important to realize he shot 40% from three in conference games and in the NCAA tournament. So, According to the stats, he shoots better in the big games. And there ain't no bigger games in comparison to college than the NBA. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And I believe he will also just excel more. Because we're playing with Trae Young, you're going to have a bunch of open opportunities, a bunch of open shots. Now, another thing you would expect him to be in transition, he's really good in transition. You would expect that with the way that he forces turnovers, gets out on the run on the defensive end, and the way he plays on that way. But also, cutter. As a cutter, this guy is really good. And I think about Trae Young. I think about his vision. I think about his playmaking. He needs guys that he can trust on the backdoor cuts, on the different plays that he can just find ways to get guys in position to score. Carter Bryant shot 61% from the field as a cutter. And I think that is just going to be his off-ball play is going to be very, very big. It will be a very great addition to this Atlanta Hawks offense. You know what I'm saying? I love Dyson Daniels, but Dyson Daniels offensively is not the best. Shea is going to be pretty good. I like Shea. Jalen Johnson, we know what Jalen Johnson brings to the table. But just adding another guy, especially when those guys check out and we have other guys checking in, having Carter Bryant, who excels at the off-ball offense, at being able to be an outlet, being able to be a weapon without having the ball necessarily in his hands, is going to be big time for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, one thing that I want to see him improve at, and he's going to have to improve at in the NBA, and if he gets better at this, he'd be a completely different prospect. His shot creation. This guy, as I said, he was not asked to do too much at Arizona. So, of course, when he was in position to be a shot creator, he struggled. He didn't really get too much separation, didn't get a bunch of good looks. But I think if he can develop into that, develop into a better shot creator, not saying he has to be a Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, all kind of these great shot creators in the NBA, not saying he has to be at that level, but if he can be above average to where, Trae Young has a down game or Trae Young is getting trapped and double teamed like we have seen, he can have trust in Carter Bryant to his decision-making, have trust in decision-making and trust in his abilities to create a shot either for himself or for others. So I'm looking forward to potentially seeing him get better in the shot creation department as well. Second guy I want to talk about, Cedrick Coward. Guard/forward from Eastern Washington, 6'6", 213 pounds with a 7'2" wingspan. Over 32 games in college, he averaged 16.5 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 1.7 assists. Now, offensively, I like this guy offensively. He has a very well-rounded game, especially as a shooter. At Eastern Washington and Wazoo, he shot nearly 40% from three-point range, and that is elite numbers. But the thing is, he's not just a spot-up shooter. He can shoot it off the catch, in transition, off the off-ball movement. He has legit shooting versatility. And then it's not just the shooting for him. With his size, with his frame, with his length, he has the ability to be an effective finisher at the rim. He's shooting 70% at the rim through traffic with big hands, soft touch, and ability to take contact. He plays with great control. Now, just like Carter Bryant, he's not the best at creating his own shot. But as I said, with Trae Young, with guys that are going to get you in your spots, guys that are going to set you up in your spots to score, he may not have to be that great at it. On the defensive end, this man's 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan, which means he's going to guard a bunch of different guys playing a bunch of different positions. He's going to generate steals. He has the length and the athleticism to close out on shooters, and he has great off-ball awareness, and he has great help side timing. And I think that these tools are going to make him a really good pro. Even if he's not with the Hawks, he's going to be a really good pro because even if the shot not falling, defensively, he's going to make an impact. And looking at the Hawks, like I said, we need wings that can shoot, defend, and play off Trae Young. This is a guy that's going to fit the bill perfectly. I think about a Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels, 6'6", maybe 6'5". He's in that 6'5" to 6'7" range. And the things that he does, I see Cedrick Coward there do the same things. You look at Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels, this is a guy that just won Most Improved Player last season while leading the NBA in steals. If we could bring another guy of that kind of mold into the fold, I think that would be great. You know what I'm saying? I look at guys like Derek White, guys that are lengthy, can dribble the ball. One thing I didn't talk about, Cedrick Coward is a very underrated playmaker as well. He's not a guy who's going to get a bunch of assists, but he has a great IQ, great decision-making. He had a bunch of great reads that I saw, but, of course, the numbers did not show. This last season, he actually only played 6 games. He got hurt really early in the last season. Was not supposed to come into the draft. He actually committed to Duke, but decided to go into the draft and see what happens, and his stock rose tremendously. But I look at everything he brings, the size, the activity on the wing. These are things that the Hawks need to put alongside guys like Zachary Richardson and Jalen Johnson, of course, Dyson Daniels and Trae Young as well. The last guy I want to talk about, Rasheed Fleming. Rasheed Fleming, 6'9" forward with a ridiculous 7'5" wingspan. Now, he averaged 14.7 points per game, 8.5 assists, 1.5 block, and almost 1.5 steal, while shooting 39% from 3 and 53% from the field. This guy is a big. He's a big 6'9", 7'5" wingspan. What is the thing that jumps off the page? It's his length and his defense. 6'9", he's on the shorter side, but that wingspan is going to make up for a lot of what that verticality does not have. I can see him playing that small ball big for us. I know, to be honest, maybe we don't need another small ball big because we got double O. But a guy like this, I wouldn't mind taking him. I think this guy is a high-end rotational piece. by the time he's done, no matter where he is. I think he's gonna be that good on the defensive end, and not to mention his shooting. But let's lock into the defense, man. This is the physical profile that makes difference in playoff series. This is the physical profile, the guys that are able to switch out in the guards, that can bang down low with the bigs, that have the versatility and the length to defend these wings. These are the kind of defenders that make difference in playoff series and helps win championships. I look at the Hawks. And the way they defend. We play a very switch-heavy defense. I'm sorry, except, without trying to get Trae Young in all of these actions. And I look at it, and I also realize we give up a lot of easy buckets at the rim. Double O is a decent rim protector. Clint Capella was not a rim protector at all. So I think adding Rasheed Fleming, I think that's adding a legit rim protector. Like I said, he's not the tallest guy. But with his wingspan and his athleticism, he's going to be a threat to block shots. He's going to be a threat to go out and force missed shots at the rim. Think about a Robert Williams. Robert Williams, not the biggest guy himself, but in his time at Boston, he was really good at protecting the rim. Really good. Now, the difference maker. What makes this guy so good? What makes him a viable first-round pick is shooting. At 6'9", 7'5" wingspan, this guy shot 40% from the three in college. And it wasn't just the simple spot-up threes where nobody's defending him and he's not open, he's knocking it down. No, he's getting it in a bunch of different ways. He's getting it in pick-and-pop situations. He's getting touch. He's showing his touch off of the catch and shoot opportunities. He's getting it in trailer threes on transition. And I think about the Hawks. We haven't had a stretch big in a long time. I look about even Al Horford. Horford didn't start shooting threes until after he left. So if we can get a guy that can shoot the ball the way that Rasheed Fleming can, that will be a big addition to the team, especially looking at our top two guys, Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Think about the spacing that there would be if you had a Rasheed Fleming sitting in the corner, sitting on the wing, or sitting anywhere with them two guys on the floor. It makes their lives so much easier. Now I want to shout out Double O, Onyeka Okongwu, man. This is a guy, he shot the ball way better as the season went on, but Rasheed Fleming 40% coming in. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at Rasheed Fleming on the defensive end. Being that good defensively with that kind of length and that kind of wingspan and being able to shoot a ball at a high clip is something that you dream of. I talked about Robert Williams. Imagine if Robert Williams get the three ball. Imagine that. Last thing I want to talk about his motor. This is a guy that plays hard. He takes no plays off. He's going to rebound the ball. He's going to contest every shot. He's going to play with a physicality and intensity that you want on your basketball team. I think that's what we need more of, especially off of the bench. You know what I'm saying? I think about where Larry Nance Jr. was. Larry Nance Jr. was playing that kind of role that we want Rasheed Fleming to play, the backup big, and it's got to come in and rebound, block shots. He even hit a couple threes for us. But bringing in a younger Rasheed Fleming with a higher upside is going to be such a great addition to this team. I hope we get him with the 22nd pick if he's still there, man. But yeah, man. That's all I got for y'all as things currently stand. We still have these two picks. We may trade up. We may trade these two picks and move up in the draft and try to get one of those top guys in the higher section of the lottery. But we don't know what's going to happen. So I did this video based off of where we are right now. And hopefully we can get these guys. There are a bunch of other guys in the draft that I like. But I think these three guys are the most realistic kind of places, most realistic prospects that we will be drafting. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Subscribe. If y'all want more Hawks content, more NBA content, NFL, subscribe. We have it all. We're going to do it all on here. We're going up for the summer, man. Until next time, going for two. We out of here. Yeah.